Looks like he's coming our way. Hopefully we can scare him away. Here we are, back again. What day is it? Wednesday? Wednesday, October 29th. Holy shizzle. Wednesday, October 29th. Man, I had a weird sleep last night. I must have had, I don't know how many dreams I had. I had so many dreams last night. And they're friends of mine. And the last dreams I had, I was in Alabama with a whole bunch of friends at some huge function. It's just really weird. It's just really weird how, sometimes you have the odd dream, whatever, but I got woken up a bunch of times last night. And I guess, Ruby Dog needed to go out and pee, but actually Sarah let her out to go pee, and she decided she needed to go race around everywhere, chasing every deer around the planet last night in the pouring rain. Anyway. Yeah, it was a bit of a chaotic night, but yeah, it's really weird how many dreams I had. Right up till and I woke up this morning again, and then also I fell asleep again, and then I was having dreams again. Weird, isn't it? Sometimes you have a million billion dreams, and sometimes you just wake up and start a new day. Nothing abnormal the night before. I don't even know why I mentioned all that. But anyway, what's going on today? We got a whole bunch of fresh out of the pan emails in this morning, so I'm going to get right to it, making sure that the people get heard. Now, on that note, I listen to a lot of what's going on in the world today, and I mean, it's not too hard to figure out there's a war going on between evil and good, without a doubt, but the more I watch and learn this past year, I've come to the realization that I think the big wars that are going on, the big conflicts, internal conflicts, international conflicts, all of them, it's about, I believe the war is about, all the conflicts are about control of us. That's what I've come to the conclusion, as I'm like a dog that's been raised in that cage, which is slowly breaking out over the course of years. And it really stands out more than ever right now that all the conflicts right now are about control of us by the small handful of people that do control us. Hate to say it, but it's the truth. I believe. Prove me wrong. Please prove me wrong. There you go. That's my little short rant. Now, this is titled The Truth. Go figure. Hey, Steve. Greg D. Turt here. It's time for me to tell my story about these people. All right. I had a 20-year relationship with these people. Wow. And at that time, had no idea about what was happening. It took me about 3 to 4 years to gain their trust. I was constantly creeping into a large swamp that was less than 100 yards from our family cabin. I would always get pressure from my gut that would go to the feeling of being watched. Sometimes getting really bad. Then, about 1979 or 80, I was hiking back behind the cabin. I went off trail and was greeted with good morning. That was the first of hundreds of times having them speak with me. There is a female who I believe was in charge of who spoke to me the most. Then there was 3 others, 2 males and 1 female. What you need to know is that they communicate with mind speak. Also, I think we could probably call it telepathy, right? They also have mind control over us and animals. They also can read our minds. And after a while, I now know when I was out there, I would feel a wave across my shoulders, then a huge wave euphoria, making me feel everything was going to be great. So they can also make you feel physically ill. Also, they have tagged me to keep me safe in the woods. For example, I was working at Boeing graveyard shift. I went up around Cultus Mountain. I pulled up where I always went, jumped out of my truck with my binoculars, didn't make it to the front of my truck, and was very violently turned back into my truck, and was told in my head, you can't be here right now. It's not safe. So I drove about 150 to 200 yards, and the mind control just stopped. And I said out loud, what the F just happened? So for some reason, they accepted me and let me in with them. When I lived up there in the 90s, I would hike almost every night. They would let the little ones chase me around and make animal noises. When I would go to try to find the animal, they would start making more calls around me. They also, at times, the young ones would greet me with many in my head at once, saying hi, also saying good night or see you tomorrow. I know this is much different than most of the stories you read, but this is what they did to me. This area is in southwest Skagit County, about 60 miles south of the Sumas border, down Highway 9. If you have any questions, you can email me or call me. Any questions? Well, between me and you and the tens of thousands of people who just heard your email, there's probably a billion questions. How about this? Why don't you email me back and give us a quick one of physically seeing these people, a description, how often, still going on today? I tried to read that part. A lot of what you say is definitely noted in patterns from thousands of people emailing us in. But it sounds like quite the experience. Maybe email us a little more. Help us get a little better feel of who you are and what your story is. All right, man? Give us some detail on a particular day, what they look like. What they look like. How often. And take it from there. I'm biting my lip. I can't read and speak at the same time I'm reading, but yeah, email me back with a little more detail, all right? Please. That sounds like quite the experience. Quite the handful of experiences. This next email is titled Clear Portal Pick ? Hey, Steve, I think the round table might want to see this. A friend of mine took it last year in a state park in Spokane, Washington. While she was out on a hike, according to her, it was in the middle of the trail, just as seen in the picture. She had no idea what it was, so she called a friend in case she disappeared and walked through it. What? Obviously she didn't. My thoughts are that it's either a portal that is opening or closing, or that is possibly some sort of being in energy form. Whatever it is, to me, it doesn't seem threatening or ominous, but I did tell her that she was nuts for walking through it. Just an FYI, in case anyone is wondering, yes, she is a very spiritually gifted person. Very tuned in, so to speak. That might be part of the equation as well. You can use my name, as I couldn't care less what anyone thinks about me. It's their opinion and none of my business / concern. And in the wise words of high school U.S. history teacher, since we had to pass his class to graduate, quote, I'm going to get paid whether you show up or not. It's just a simple case of mind over matter. And I don't mind. You don't matter. End quote. And yes, for the younger ones out there, where it wasn't required, you had to pass U.S. and world history to graduate, where you learned that brutal truth about communism, socialism, totalitarianism, etc. What a mistake it was letting public education remove those from the curriculum. Eric Fish, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. There's the photo. I'll add it in. It's an odd-looking photo. Now, me just looking at it right now, as I do with every single photo I ever look at in the outdoors, the first thing I look for is which way the sun's going. And in this photo, without being told what it is, right? Everybody showed me this photo and said, hey man, what do you think this is? I would say instantly, looking at the cameras, facing directly into the sun, I see a rainbow hue to the outside edges of it, and I would think it was a moisture drop on the lens when the photo was taken. That's what I would say if somebody just showed me the photo and asked me what I thought. But hearing the story behind it, saying this was right there in front of the person standing there, well, that's kind of crazy. That'd be a little odd. I'd be trying to take a picture of it too. But then to blatantly say it's a portal, or like you said, even it's possibly a being, excuse me, and she walked right through it with nothing happened at all. She walked right through it. Nothing. No note of pressure or hair standing on end, bumping into something, hear a noise, nothing. So there you go. I don't know what to think of that myself. It's odd. Never seen anything like this before, but if I had to make a call, which I'm not the right person. It looks like something caused by moisture on the lens of the camera facing directly into the sun. I don't know. But I wasn't there. And allegedly the lady said this thing was just sitting there in front of the trail. But what would make anyone walk through it? Anyone from here anyway, after what we know from everyone emailing us in. But we've never had a photo like that ever before. We've never had a portal described as that before. We never heard anybody say, I saw a portal, man. It had two sharp corners on either end. It was shaped almost like an eyeball with a rainbow hue to the outside edges. We haven't had that description either. So, I don't know. It's a mystery. It's a mystery to me. But shared, my man. Shared. All right, this next email came in the form of a PDF, and it saved it as a PDF in my notes when I saved it. So the text is a little smaller. Hold on. Let me adjust this so I can read it smoother. It's a couple pager. Hold on a minute. All right, I saved it, copied it, saved it. Now I can read it smoother. Again, hello, Steve. Greetings from coastal South Carolina. The story I'm about to tell you is not my story, but the story of a coworker who we will call Luke, his twin, Sam, and their older brother, Skip. We will do it this way because of our careers and public safety. The events happened in the fall of early 2000s near the Green Swamp section of the Waccamaw River on the North Carolina/South Carolina state line. It's very wet in some of these areas with thick undergrowth. A power line to the rear of the stand that runs east to west and the river that runs a boundary north to south. Beyond that is very dense pine forest and viney undergrowth filled with wild turkey, whitetail, wild hogs, the occasional black bear, and bobcats, just to name a few. All right. You know, it's funny, I've never been to North or South Carolina. Isn't that weird? Weird for me. Event number 1. The tree stand sits about 150 yards behind a hunting camp and about 75 yards off of the power line facing northeast and a good 20 feet off the ground. It was early evening, and my coworker's oldest brother, Skip, went to the hunting camp with some friends. His friends went out to the river to fish. It is just getting dusk, so Skip decided to head to the tree stand instead and sit for a while before dark. Skip is legally blind and can't see very well straight on. He does in fact have very good peripheral vision. Keep in mind that these boys grew up in this swamp and have hunted their entire lives here, so they are very familiar with this area and the wildlife that inhabits it. So even with Skip's disability, he's very proficient in the woods and with firearms. Armed with a 12 gauge, and after about an hour of silence, he was ready to head back to camp when movement caught his eye. When movement and noise caught his attention, coming from behind him at his 7 o'clock, walking diagonally in front of him. He states it was about 25 to 30 yards away, and it was loud, making its way through the crunchy underbrush. 2 things. He could make out a dark figure, and the fact that it was upright. It also ducked under some low-hanging limbs. No size comparison could be given. He figured it was one of the others playing a prank. But who in their right mind does that, knowing he has a seeing disability and that maybe, just maybe, you're going to get shot at? Valid. It was then that Skip became uneasy and yelled out, "Hey!" No reply, and just kept walking. Again, "Hey!" A little louder this time, with no response. Then finally a third, "Hey!" Louder, with no response. And the blur just kept moving slightly away from his left to right off into the bush. He waited until he couldn't hear any more movement. He climbed down as fast as he could and immediately made his way back to the camp. Skip was flustered, still thinking someone was messing with him. But they were all there back at the camp and accounted for. Skip decided at that point he wouldn't tell anyone else about the encounter. Common. Fast forward a year. The next fall, Sam, Skip's brother, younger brother, was with some friends at the camp one evening. He decided that he would go to the stand and sit for a while. And after a short time, he began hearing something coming through the brush from the same 7 o'clock direction. Keep in mind, Skip did not tell anyone about his encounter from the previous year, so Sam, being very aware and able to see clearly with no disabilities, did not see anything, only hearing something coming through the underbrush, but it stopped just shy of entering his field of view, right to the point where someone would have to step out of the thicket and under the low-hanging branches. And it was silent for a minute or so. Sam sat trained on the spot with a 12-gauge where the noise had stopped, waiting for a deer to emerge. But at this point, it was close to dusk and visibility was very low. Then Sam heard a very loud, very deep, hey, 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 and getting louder each time. Sam also was thinking someone was messing with him, but again, who does this in front of a man with a gun? After several tense seconds, the old fight or flight kicked in, and Sam dismounted the tree in record time with one arm, while the other had the shotgun leveled at that thicket the whole way down. He was scared to death. Sam backed out of that section as fast as he could, and once he got to his quad, he raced back to camp. Sam, still not knowing his brother's encounter a year earlier. The difference between Sam and Skip is the fact that Sam let it be known what had happened. The next day, he got a hold of his brothers and couldn't wait to tell what happened. He was telling Luke and Skip the story, and when he got to the part about the speech, Skip stopped him mid-sentence and said, "Don't tell me, it said, hey." Sam said, "How did you know that?" They could tell Skip was visibly shaken. Skip then proceeded to tell them about his experience the previous year. Steve, he waited a year to tell his own brothers and probably wouldn't have, by his own admission, if it hadn't happened to Sam. Now, to be clear, the two never said it was a Sabe or a Sasquatch or anything that they could articulate, because in no one case, there wasn't a clear enough view. And the second never showed itself. I heard this story for myself from Luke after working with Luke for several months and finding that we shared the same interests in the subject. He actually turned me on to your channel. Then I spoke with Sam and Skip separately to get their story and hear it from the proverbial horse's mouths. They were very forthcoming to me, but reluctant to let it out to the public. They also have stated that over the many years at that camp and in that section of swamp, there have been many odd experiences that went unexplained. Slapping of buildings, and what now could be described as a bluff charge late one evening at the camp. Only upon hearing similar accounts on this channel can they now piece all this together. These accounts could not be explained because in the 90s and early 2000s, there was virtually no knowledge to draw from, and if there were other accounts, people just weren't talking about it. Steve, thanks again for all that you do getting these people heard. My name is Ryan, and I truly believe these events happened. I know these guys and would trust my life with them. They are good men of God and would not make up some shit like this to just get recognition. Sam's one of the best police officers I've ever worked with. Honesty and integrity is the code here, brother, and I trust their story to be truthful. Thanks again, and stay safe out there. Okay, hold on a minute. Private message from me. My man. Appreciate that big time. And if I'm nearby, I'll be there. Trust me. I will be there. And you know what? I guarantee you they're going to be somewhat relieved when they hear me share their experiences here with everybody. Nobody has ever said, well, maybe a couple, just not from anything painful, but just from it not being recorded properly. But we never really had anybody say, "Oh man, I wish I didn't come forward on Steve's channel with my truth." It's painless. It actually it helps a lot of people, man. It helps a lot of people. I appreciate you guys sharing that, all right? Big time. Now, welcome to the club, right? Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. I'm curious, though, one quick question. I'm curious what made you interested in this topic. I'm curious about that, if you hadn't had experience yourself. What do we got here next? You know, it's funny. It's almost like I feel bad. Every single email I read, I wish I could talk to the people all day long. But there's such a huge line of emails, you know what I mean? Everything Going Quiet is the title of this email. Hi, Steve. I was watching a storytelling channel, and someone wrote in about the quiet and cold that enters a room when you have a paranormal event. They say that whatever it is sucking the energy out of the room to manifest. So is that what is happening when the force goes quiet? When seeing these beings and slash, or are they opening a portal that is suck the energy out? Thanks for all you and Sarah do, and you couldn't be more right about getting back to the community. We could win this battle if we all got together. Thanks again, Papa Wally. Yeah, could be, man. I don't know. I am absolutely convinced that the cold that comes and happens in a room, in a house, when they do scary shit, I call it, with entities, spirits, which I want nothing to do with myself. I don't think it's related to the topic that dominates my channel currently. I don't myself. Could be wrong. But I don't think so. I don't think we've had too many people say it got really, really cold. I don't think. Meaning when a Sasquatch experience is going down. This next email is titled Bright Flash Origins. Hi, Steve. I wanted to share my personal experiences about the out of seemingly nowhere bright flashes of light. I have seen the white light orbs, do it about 5 times on 3 different occasions. I was at the beach, literally looking to experience orbs the size of Volkswagens that would show themselves often for me. What? One night after seeing a couple show up over the waves at the beach in Pawleys Island, South Carolina. Pawleys Island, South Carolina. Then I was looking up and seeing an orb above that appears sitting still and then flash. It lit up the entire landscape of the beach for a fraction of a second. I've seen this happen twice that night and a total of 5 times. I would be happy to share my entire story with you. Just let me know. They do many other things as well. Daniel, let her rip, man. Let her rip. Share away. You should have thrown it down right there. We do have, and I know people have seen nighttime go to daylight for short moments around North America. I don't think any from Europe yet, but it's true. Orbs the size of Volkswagens, and you've seen them often on the beach, so somebody else has seen that too. If you have and you're here, chime in, and we'll wait for whatever else you got. All over it. Next, this is titled, and as far as the bright lights go, I have only had, remember I had some weird lights on my trail camera a long time ago. Well, I don't know, 4 years ago, 5 years ago maybe. And also I videotaped those bright lights way up on the side of the mountain at about 5 in the morning or 4:30, whatever it was. And it was probably minus 15-ish where I was. So it's probably like minus 30 up there. And I videotaped and posted them on here. Remember that? I even know what I did with those clips. This next email is titled Taking a Stand. Dear Steve, I hope this email finds you well and less agitated than you were while discussing Canada's journey to complete tyranny. I'm feeling pretty grounded. Many places in the U.S. have created insane gun laws. Because of this, I have many of my guns at my house in New Hampshire instead of California. I know of people who advocate for sequestering guns and ammo. When I hear what you said, I understand their feelings. I also understand your frustration. I have emailed you, but I have kept politics out of the discourse. My reasoning is that I do not want to contribute to any excuse for you to being censored. I am certain that it is impossible to have any privacy via any electronics. For sure, it's pretty tough, isn't it? Taking a stand is something that I have done many times. The impact on others can be significant. Last October 17th, my house was raided by the FBI. Oh, that sucks. They did not ever catch me. They wasted millions of dollars going after me for a corrupt political agenda. They're all immoral. They stole valuables from my safe. Oh, that sucks. My wife had the distinct pleasure of having a bunch of DEI/affirmative action losers put laser dots on her chest while she was clearly not armed. She felt the need to reach out to someone. She chose you. She did. I'm sure that she was looking for some comfort and support. She also wanted the story to be told. You did not get in contact with her. I've been wondering why. I don't know. Did I share it? I haven't a clue. Don't know. New to me, man. Responding to her would have taken some guts, even if it was to say that you did not want to be involved. And now you're asking people to stand up and get involved. Do you have any idea how this looks to someone like me? I've always thought that you were a man of great integrity. When you do not respond to me or my wife, I must rationalize that lack of a response. You may be overwhelmed, or you think that I'm not credible. Maybe what I'm saying is not important to you. I do not know the answer, but I accept the result. However, my feelings about a lack of response to my wife are far more disappointing. All right, well, you know what? I mean, first off, I've made it quite clear in the past to anybody, this isn't a place, I'm not the guy for emotional support, first off, especially hurt feelings. I'm just not. This is a tough life. Life is tough. But imagine me reading this and not having a clue who you are or what you're talking about. Okay, now put yourself in my position right now, just for 5 seconds. All new to me. All right, so rein her in. Rein it in. I'm sending you a copy of my FBI wanted poster. After they did not find me, I was on the FBI most wanted list. I do not have a copy of that poster. YouTube channel, Benny Johnson. I followed Benny now and then. Titled, quote, Julie Kelly exposes new raid by FBI of January 6th protester. 3 minutes, 55 seconds into the video, this is the raid on my house. Intuition and psychic skills are something that you said that you are interested in. I emailed you and offered to help you with this, and I did not get a response. I got away from the FBI, and then I avoided capture for months because I am capable. I am the only January 6th person. I am the only January 6th person that got away from the FBI while they tried to arrest me. Can you think of another time when the FBI went to someone's house with full tactical team and were made to look like a bunch of idiots? There is so much that I could share with you, but why would I continue to type to nothingness? I feel strongly enough about communicating with you that I would incur the cost to do so, and I'm not wealthy. I would come to you at a place of your choosing. I would take your whole family out to dinner if that is what works best for you. Sarah, daughters, and of course, short stud, whoever. When my children were around, I did not want to do many things with them, and I still love being around young people. It's all up to you. I simply have a couple of things I'd like to share with you that I will not share via electronics. Hail Canada Stan. Sincerely, Jeffrey Snyder. Sneeze there. Okay, Jeffrey Snyder, the first I've read from you. I appreciate reaching out. It's in some way, if you've got the attention of Benny Johnson, he's got a massive following compared to me. I'm not even a drop in the bucket compared to the following he has, and I'm in Canada. So I'd be curious. My gut is, I speak with my gut. My gut's saying, why would you contact me and want to go out of your way and drop money to talk to me about U.S. political turmoil generated from January 6th? That, for me, doesn't really make sense. I'm just speaking, I'm not being insulting. I'm having a friendly conversation with you in front of an audience of tens of thousands of people. I do know and agree that the January 6th thing was an absolute farce. I do understand and accept the fact that the FBI is probably one of the most discredited bunch of bozos that ever frickin' existed. And they've done a lot of, they've caused a lot of human pain to innocent human beings. And still do today. But why would it be of importance to contact a guy from Canada talking about the outdoors, hunting, and truth? Obviously, I'm a truth teller. But hey man, if you've got the attention of Benny, people like Benny, That's probably the direction you need to go if you want to be heard, right? I would think. So, and I mean, I'm not a worrisome type. I don't think everybody's out to get me, but I'm thinking, all right, so this guy wants me to meet up with him physically, and no matter what it costs to him, he doesn't want to spend the money. That's for me, that's a bit of a red flag, honestly, as it probably would be if this is turned around, right? We'll see what happens. I'll share your photo with your wanted poster. Maybe if I got a chance a little later, I'll look into this a little deeper. And then being upset that I didn't reply when I haven't even read it. I don't know, man. Let's see what all of you think in the comment section below. I'm sure our sleuths are going to be doing some digging. All right, let me fill this up if you need to get that text read in there. Well, let's see how this goes. And again, you can't be getting emotional and easily offended by me because I have nothing for that. I got no energy for the offended at all, right? I do not cater to offended culture here. If anything, I probably make it worse when I come across people that express to me that they're offended. Wrong guy. I'm going to make it worse just for my entertainment. All right? So don't be offended. But you got to admit, somebody who's wanted by the FBI in the United States for something that went down in the new U.S. Capitol being offended that a guy who speaks about hunting and Sasquatch encounters in the forest who lives in Canada, that doesn't really add up. There's something odd going on there for my guts, right? So maybe you can explain a little further to me. What's up? What's up? Now hopefully I'll remember to do a search for your name in my inbox and see what else you've emailed me, the past or your wife. Take it from there. Email back, man. Email back. Next. 15th of November, 2008, Michigan, UP. The Upper Peninsula, man. It's on fire all the time. Hi, Steve. My name is Larry. Thank you for everything that you have done for all of us. You're so welcome. It's too easy, and thank you for coming forward and emailing me. Opening morning, I walked in my box blind around 7:15. There was just enough light to see without a flashlight. I opened the shooting window, leaned my rifle in the corner, and sat down. And maybe a minute or so had passed when a real ruckus erupted out in front of me. Instantly, I thought, wow, I'm going to see two bucks fighting for the first time. Adrenaline had that rifle out the window and the safety off like greased lightning. And as I looked through the scope, there was a deer barreling right at me. I saw it was not a racked buck. He kept coming at me until he was the brown... He kept coming at me until he was the brown blob in the scope. The ruckus never stopped. But it turned into what I can only describe as a bulldozer, minus the engine, breaking and snapping trees as it opens up a road. Wow. The tree snapping lasted 10 to 15 seconds and ended with a loud thwack. Dead quiet. Like being in a vacuum tube. No forest sounds at all. Eventually, I pulled the rifle back in and noticed two shaking ears just outside my window. It was a little button buck, backed into the blind and was shaking from head to toe. I stayed in my blind until 3 or so and knew I did not want to walk out in the dark. The little buck never stopped shaking the whole time I was there. It was tough, but I was back in that blind the same time the next morning. And as shooting light arrived, I could see the button buck had laid down in the same spot. Holy shit, no way. I stayed until around noon. I felt bad for the little guy, and I wished I could have taken him back to the house and fed him through the winter. I hiked out to the truck and brought him a 5-gallon bucket of alfalfa cubes, carrots and apples, rutabagas, and corn. I spread it out 30 yards in front of him and called it a bust at this location. I hunted my other backup spot for the next 4 days, and the next day I returned to my favorite blind. The button buck was still there, and he had moved closer to the carrots. The location returned to normal, with 1 to 2 bucks being seen for an all-day post. I did shoot a nice 8-point buck on the last day of the rifle season. I always do a quick pull on a buck away from my blind area after the shot to allow the area to return to normal as fast as possible. While pulling this one, in my head I heard the words, gut, stop. It was not the place I wanted to field dress. It always gives the vibe of, don't stay here, keep moving. A cedar tree on the edge of the swamp had formed a nice-sized bowl to place the hindquarters down low and let everything drain out. The buck was neatly dressed with bowels intact, liver and heart perfect, lungs like jello. It is my routine to go back to my truck and pound some water and a pack of M&Ms. I leave my rifle in outer hunting clothes. I return in sweatshirt, jeans, comfortable boots, and over-the-ears beanie. I return to the buck ready for what was about to be a 3/8 of a mile pull. The heart and liver were gone. The rest of the pull was uneventful. Thanks for throwing a GoPro out on a fishing line. God bless you and your family. Wow, there you go. That's a lot, isn't it? Again, I've had a lot of people. Who knows how many people have emailed in the sound of a bulldozer sound blowing down all the trees and all the brush. And I'd like, please, if anybody could, please go and videotape that carnage and send it to me. Share it with us. I want to see what it looks like. You know what I mean? And I understand it would be pretty tough to want to go back there by yourself and go look for it, especially that sound. It's got to be intimidating as all hell, right? A lot of people, I think I saw a video one time of a man who was hunting, and he was being interviewed, and he took the person with the camera. I saw it online a long time ago. Older fella, and he clearly showed, I don't know how many trees broken off at about 8 feet tall, down in one direction. And it wasn't from snow, that's for sure. But anyway, somebody, please videotape the carnage when you hear that sound and share it with us, Who's next? Here comes a long one. This next email is titled Blue Ridge, Virginia Sasquatch. Fresh out of the pen. Hi, my West Coast friends. Here's some updates on my latest experience with the Sabe here around my house. I left off where they were snatching chickens and telling them I depend on the eggs and the chickens for my way of living, and they quit doing that. Well, that's good news. I've been going out at night around midnight to 1 a.m. to my basement working on chainsaws, maintenance on mine, and rebuilding one for a friend that his deceased dad had gotten him. So one Sunday night, I take the trash out. It's a 50-yard drag to the road uphill, another 25. I put the can in position at probably 2:30 a.m. I turn and walk back, start in drive. I turn and walk back, start in drive. I have one of my trucks there. I wanted to pull up to the house, so start towards it. Headlamp on pitch black. I hit the fob to unlock it. Park lights, interior come on. 2 steps, it goes out. Fob won't cut it on. Then headlamp dead. I say, okay, so you want me to trip and fall getting to my truck? I have a roll of fencing laying there beside it, I know. Now if I fall and get hurt, do you think that's nice? I feel my way down. The truck, it's black, and I can't see shit. I get the door open, light comes on. I said, okay, get in. I said, okay, get in. There's a whole bunch of typos. Sorry, you guys. And start it, pull up to the house. A couple weeks later, it's misting rain. I'm going to basement, which 4 yards down drive and around up that drive and get in. Get some things done, take a break, head back to the house. Dad's finished eating. It's like 4 a.m., so I'm going back out to the basement, walk out on the porch. Dome lights are on in both my trucks. I'm looking stupidly Now, way black truck's battery disconnected. Both lights go out. I'm reading exactly how it's spelled, you guys, but we'll get through it. I start down the steps and get this feeling of evil, dark. Not Bigfoot dread, something evil. I start talking. I start talking trash. I'm in the light. I have in the yard, in the dark, but I have Jesus and the light. And like you, you're stuck in the dark. I continue on to the basement, get an hour of work done. I'm at the steps and the porch heading in. Then I'm thinking maybe that was the solar motion light reflecting into the windshield. It's drizzling again. Turn around, hit the top step. I'm disabled, and I have to sidestep. I hit the top step, and bam! I'm on the bottom step. Take a good shot to the kidneys. Keys one direction, headlamp back onto the steps. Oh, so the keys flew one direction, the headlamp back onto the steps. I say, okay, you got me, but I'll recover. You can hurt me, but I'll heal. I'm in the light, and you're stuck in the dark, and laugh. And I get my shit, my ass is hurting, and I start getting nauseous. I was done. I know things I say sound crazy, but it's what happens. I won't handle nothing like that again. Just go back in. So a week later, it's almost 5 a.m. I'm taking guinea fowl chicks, tote, out the back door and dump and refresh, raising them before it gets cold since 30 chickens got killed and taken. I'm about halfway down the ramp and a real loud whoa comes from behind the chicken pen like 30 yards away. So I'm mocking it. Whoa, whoa, a few times. No response. Okay. Woo. I'm coming with the shotgun. When I get back in, I get to the front door inside. Instead of tote in the floor, I grab the spotlight, open the door, throw the light on, and bust it out through the woods fast and hard. Sorry. And something busted out through the woods fast and hard. It was someone running dead away out back from the pen. So I run to get the shotgun and head back out. Okay, what do you want first, the slug or the buckshot? Come on now, don't run as I'm walking down the drive. Headlamp and light on, shotgun, scanning the woods, don't see a thing. Keep walking all the way down and out the road past where I put the trash can, all the way around the back into the upper road, scanning and talking trash. I see nothing, so I go back in. It's been a week. I haven't seen or heard nothing, no weird feelings or anything, so I go out to the store. I cut switch on. It's from disconnect and go start batteries, dead. Shit. Well, I take the red truck. Can't get in, its batteries are dead. Jump back, lock tools are all in it. So I'm looking for the right rod to bend to hook hood latch through the grill to put charger on it. By the time I get everything done and running, something closed, so damn, stores closed, so damn that day for that. The entity that had my domes were draining my batteries. One wasn't even connected to the battery. How does that happen? I tell my sister, and she says, you've been watching way too much Bigfoot stuff. I said, whatever, somebody or something ran, not a deer. My lights are on vehicles that have a deal. They automatically shut off in case you leave them on. Battery disconnected on one because I rarely drive it. You tell me. It doesn't matter. Another day of something. Steve, you know, and everyone else knows, and everyone else shit happens. Ha ha. So back when I last seen that big guy looking away from me at 3:30 a.m., I was feeding deer. So when I don't get a funny feeling going down there or to the basement, I'll call them nuns, you know, from the L-Man. I remember, right? I'll ask them how they are, or I'm sorry about the eldest one, and I'm sorry I can't remember his name. I've done that just a few times going out there. I'll have to watch you read on that. I have it saved. A couple nights go by. I shit you not. I was waking in my sleep at 6 a.m. I go to bed early that morning. Steve, there was this young, black, little Sabe just standing there a few seconds, and then this old, gray, patchy hair face, but blurry, would appear. Then the young one again. This went on back and forth for about a minute, I guess. I felt awake, like it was clear. I was dreaming to me, then I really woke up. I guess, I was confused. I asked, were you trying to show me or tell since I've been asking about the elder? I've never seen her woke like that again or nothing since. I broke out the light and the shotgun that night. I didn't mean to chase him off. It's just the city and bad people aren't but 10 minutes away. Lock the door in the house just to go to the basement and lock it while I'm working in there. Druggies and people are crazy. Now they'll check your door and just walk in. Anyways, all's been calm for 3 weeks now. I'm sorry to hear the loss of your birds a few weeks ago and when you left. You and Sarah take care. I'll write again if anything else weird or crazy happens. Bow season's in. I've been in stand a few times, letting young bucks go and waiting on the big ones to come in. I see them on trail cams, but it's like they know I'm hunting and in lay I'm those days. Ha. Y'all be good and safe. Thank you all for being awesome human beings you are. If it wasn't for you and Sarah, you'd think humanity's lost no hope. Amen. Okay, appreciate that, man. It's a little rough reading. We're not all good at doing that, all right? But we got the gist of it. Something's going on. Something's going on. And I think you think a little more is going on than just the Sasquatch beings, possibly, right? I think you're right. Wow. Welcome to the club. And you already seen one of these beings emailed previously about it looking away from him close. Okay, here we go. Here's another one. Everybody deserves respect, you guys. Not everybody can write properly or even knows how to use punctuation automatically on the internet, okay? They just don't. So just be kind. Forest People and Fire is the title of this email. Dear Steve, I recently heard a story about the Forest People from 1864. A Confederate soldier from the American Civil War was injured and had lost a lot of blood. He'd been unconscious, and when he came to, all of the living soldiers had left the area and he was alone. The soldier was hollering in pain and asking for help. He heard heavy footsteps approaching and, thinking he was going to be rescued, was shocked to see a large, hair-covered creature appear. The creature started to drag the soldier off, but eventually threw him over his shoulder. The soldier awoke sometime later in a cave. It was pitch black inside the cave, but he saw light approaching him. He soon saw light approaching him. One of the creatures came into sight carrying a torch, a fire on the end of a stick for our British friends. A couple weeks later, the soldier was able to leave and return to civilization, thanks to the help of the Forest People. The story was written by the soldier in 1895, and of course, I have no idea how true it is. But my reason for writing is to ask you and other community members, do you think the Forest People have fire-making or keeping abilities? I frequently wondered that. Thank you. Dennis Botifer. Botifer? Hope I pronounced the name right, Dennis. I don't know, man. Who knows? Then back then in the day, I mean, if that really went down, I'm certain the soldier was probably freaked right out if it really happened. But take it a little further. Imagine back in those days, if you seen a hairy upright being coming back into the cave with a round ball of light accompanying it. Do you think you're going to share that part? Probably not. You're probably going to say, he had a torch on the end of a stick. A flaming torch. That's where I would be leaning myself. Do I think they have the capability to use fire? I think they got the capability to use a lot more than fire myself. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Doesn't sound like they need fire to me. All right. How long is this one? One more. Oops, what is this? Two of them? All right, one more. Mark this as red. Water demon screams and a fireball. You got two emails here. Which one's first? All right, here we go. I went to a family gathering and my uncle and aunt and my dad told me their grandmother saw a hairy creature in the woods at the Alfalfa River one day, and she and a friend of the family went back fishing there in a boat. And while they were fishing, this creature came up out of the water beside the boat. The man then took his .38 pistol and shot it 6 times. And the creature just slid back out of the water. This had to be back in the 20s to the 40s era. My dad and his siblings said they thought it must have been a sabe, even though their grandmother called it a water demon. It was big and hairy and was on land and underwater. My dad also told me that when he was about 6, him and his dad were about 4 miles from where that happened, fishing in a creek on a Sunday. My dad said that all of a sudden something screams, and his dad said, "Run." Now the water was only knee-deep to his dad, but up to his waist on him. But he said it was everyone for themselves, as his dad was leaving him. What? My dad always said it could have been a panther, but with it being so close to the other place where the creature came out of the water, I told him it was probably a sabe. He said he didn't know, but he's never heard anything like it before or since. He did say he never fished on Sunday again, though. He also saw a big fireball going across the back of a field when he was little. All this was in 5 miles of each other. Wow. My dad is 86, and it was in the 40s when something screamed at him, so I just assumed it was anywhere from the 20s to the 40s when his grandma saw the creature. It's a cedar swampy river we use a pond boat to fish it, and it's black water. The fireball was either in the 40s or 50s. Wyman Martin. My number is if you want to talk to me about it, and I live in Fitzgerald, Georgia, and all this happened 15 miles south in Irwin County, Georgia. Next time you go to Alabama, you can come on over to the gas. You can come on over to gas, and I'll take you whitetail hunting and fishing. If I'm ever up your way, I'll pull to your gate and toot the horn. Good plan. It's always a safe way to do it here. Appreciate that email and the kind offer, my man. Appreciate that email. That's creepier than shit. Reminds me, we had a guy email in a handful of years ago. Or no, didn't email in. This was in Dr. John Bendernagel's book, I believe. And I think I had the same guy email me too. These guys were duck hunting in a lake in British Columbia, and one of these beings just slowly stood up or popped its head and shoulders out of the water, looked at him, and then went back down underwater. How fast would you be getting off the water if that was you? Shot it 6 times. Nothing scarier or more dangerous than a scared human being, right? There's probably nothing worse than a scared human being with a gun. And there's probably nothing worse than a scared human being with the button that launches a destructive missile. Right? But anyway, I'm going to get ripping, you guys. I got to go. I got to do some things with Sarah. Then I got to organize my stuff, and I'm going to take her hunting one more time tomorrow morning. And then I'm going to pack my stuff and get ready to go to the north. Share my story at howtohunt.com. Also, Sarah's first cookbook ever is almost ready. I can share the cover with you guys. And I'll keep you posted on that one. More importantly, share my story at howtohunt.com. Please get your truth shared, all right? Just get it off your chest and get it shared. This is probably one of the few places where it's only about the people and we're all equal. Right? Today. Anyway, I'm going to bite my lip. I'll be back later. Thanks for coming out, everyone.